love Brooks, but he can't be on the team. One, hasn't played well since PGA. U.S. team can't afford distractions on the road, and Brooks would be a constant distraction for the U.S. team in the press events. Yeah, I know. I mean, those questions will come up if he does make the team. But welcome in. Welcome back to the Bearder Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Here we are catching up on, FedEx Cup standings. Ryder Cup is coming up upon us. So big movement there with Brooks Koepka falling out of the automatic spot. So that's
Yep.
worth some discussion and figuring out who those six captains picks are going to be. The European side is very interesting to me just because the talent pool is not as deep on the European side. So
Right.
it's going to be very interesting how they fill out the final part of their roster with only three people selected so far on the Euros. So let's just jump into it. I think for me the most intriguing story is the Brooks Koepka story. So he went into the week solidly in the fifth place spot as a result of his finishes in the majors earlier this year. Of course, winning the PGA, high finish in the Masters, second place finish in the Masters. I think tied for 17th and the U.S. Open, and so a really strong showing this year, and was able to with limited starts, that qualified, be able to fall into the fifth spot, but.
Yeah.
Some scenarios did not break his way this weekend with Xander Schauffele pushing him out, as well as I think it was Max Homa. Let me check my
Yeah. No, Max
notes.
Homa. Yep.
Max Homa, and so yeah, I mean it was disappointing. Hadn't really talked about him being in an automatic spot up until this week. Again, just many different scenarios. So now that he is out, what do you think about his standing, and should he be one of those captain's picks? Let's just talk specifically about him, about Brooks Koepka right now. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, the way he's played, I definitely think he's earned his way into one of those captain's picks. I mean, all the guys you think about that could be on that list for captain's picks from the PGA Tour side, I don't know. They haven't really been performing of late towards the end when it's really mattered. Like, thinking about a guy like, unfortunately, like a guy like Tony Finau, where, you kind of think he's one of the clutch vets and stuff like that. And, he didn't really close out his season. Probably, I mean, honestly, the way he wanted to either. So
Yeah,
I think he's a leg up on one of those guys. And of course, he's always a big time gamer. So, I mean, much rather would rely on a guy like Brooks than, on somebody that's teetering, like a guy like Tony Finau. Then, of course, you got guys like Justin Thomas on the way, teetering on the edge as well. Fan favorite, team favorite, especially when it comes to Ryder Cup. So you definitely got to believe
yeah.
that he's going to be one of those captain picks too. So, but yeah, I think Brooks Koepka has done what he's supposed to be doing, especially major wise, especially when it matters the most. So I think he's earned a spot, one of those
Yeah.
captain picks on the Ryder Cup for sure.
Let's look at the list and kind of see where people stand in terms of their ranking points. Pull this up here. So
Yeah.
let's skip down. So we know we already have Scotty Scheffler, Wyndham Clark, Brian Harmon, Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, and Xander Schauffele already locked down. Those spots are guaranteed. There
Yeah.
will be no change in the top six this week. And so underneath that, as we said, we have Brooks Koepka in the seventh spot. As you can see, denoted, he's lost two positions here. Jordan Spieth underneath that. Cam Young is one that's really intriguing to me. He had to do some things. He could have locked in a spot this past week, but did not.
Yeah.
Colin Morikawa, Keegan Bradley's quietly had a really solid season this year. Pocketing a win, some really reputable finishes throughout the
Yeah.
season, and so he's an interesting consideration. He's going to take it seriously. I'm kind of pulling for him. As he gets a little bit deeper into his career, it'd be nice to be able to see him get one. Sam Burns, I think, is going to have a long career. I don't know. He's not exactly been playing well. He had a
Yeah,
really solid middle of the season, but has not really performed deep
yeah.
into the season.
I think
You
if
know,
you
what
look
about?
just at yeah,
Go ahead. No, no,
I
go
think
ahead.
I think if you look just at this list, just as you have it right here, I think you have to go Brooks, Spieth, Morikawa, Bradley, Fowler, JT. That would be the six I would pick just off of this list alone.
Yeah,
And just like you said, Cam Young's young. He's gonna play again. Sam Burns young. He's gonna play again. So although you feel like sometimes they've been in the spot and that you feel like sometimes they deserve it, I feel like you got to go with like a vet that may be not getting that opportunity again, like a Keegan Bradley, because he is so
yeah,
hot, and then of course he switched over. Just a little small thing like him and Max Homa, they both switched over to aim point, and their putting has become pretty phenomenal again, at least in short spurts. When it comes down to getting on the green with your teammate in a foursome or in a four ball, you need a guy that you can count on to make putts. And I think with the new aim point that they're doing, you got to go with a guy like Keegan Bradley. You got to. I
yeah,
think he's really nailed it down. Him and his quirky style and stuff like that. So I believe he should, be get one of those spots. And
yeah.
he's done enough. He's done enough this year, and he's won. He's went out and flat out won, and he's always competed. He's made the top 50 or whatnot. I don't think he quite made it to. You think he made it? Did he make it to the tour finals? Can you see that?
I can. Let me pull that up here. Yep, he's in the 11th spot.
Wow.
He moved down three after the last week's results, and so yeah, he's in there.
Okay. So yeah, then that seals it to me. If he's in the tour finals, he's done enough. I think he's got to get one of those spots.
Yeah, yeah, I think so as well. And just very curious. I don't think Keegan has Keegan Bradley made a Ryder Cup. Yes, so he played on the 2012 and 2014 teams, and part of this discussion about the Ryder Cup is that the current six that have made it, three of those have experience, three of those are rookies. So you have Brian
Yeah.
Harmon, Max Homa, and shoot, Wyndham Clark.
Yeah.
They're
Rookies.
all rookies, and Wyndham Clark really has this year made his ascension and made himself known, put himself onto the scene. Prior to this, I mean, he's not really had a lot of big game experience. And, Max Homa, I think, performed admirably last year in the President's Cup. And, really after last week, he hung up there in the top of the leaderboard, wasn't able to close out the deal, with a hot Hovland and some other players sniping him out. Again, Rory, we'll come back to Rory on the European side, but him playing solid golf again, even though he
Yeah.
did not win, just competing in the top tens every single week at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, the U.S. needs some experience. We're changing the guard. You have names that are no longer going to be associated with the team. Your Phil Mickelson's, which he's been out for a couple of years. We're missing DJ for sure from last, Ryder Cup. Another couple of names that have been thrown up for consideration for captain's picks, but I don't think that they really have a shot. I think if you get Brooks in there from the live side, you have Bryson DeChambeau, which we talked about his 58 a couple weeks ago. I don't think the guy is a good team room, guy. He doesn't seem to mesh well with the other players on the team, and I just think that's too much friction, especially in a team event. And you have what's the other guy's name that's won like three times? He's so
Gooch.
insignificant. Gooch, Taylor Gooch. You know, he's won three times on the Live Tour, but
Doesn't
in the
even matter.
majors this year, no. Tied for 34th in the Masters, missed the cut in the Open as well as the PGA Championship. That just
Yeah.
doesn't speak very well to his game traveling, and he's self eliminated. I don't think
Yeah.
you have to stretch to get the live guys in there again. DeChambeau is hot as of late, but has not had a really particularly good season, and DJ has had a poor season. just in general. No matter
I
what
mean,
tour
but
he's played on, he's not
yeah,
been
I mean,
well.
besides the 58, what has DeChambeau done? And Gooch has won 3 times and still hasn't even made an indention into the paragraph of golf this year. Like, what are we talking about? You won
Yeah.
3 times and they were so insignificant that we're not even like, yo, that Gooch guy, he's won 3 times though. Okay.
No, but just for kicks and giggles, I know official world golf ranking has taken its tumbles this year with everybody talking about it. But let's just see where Taylor Gooch lands. I know officially Bryson DeChambeau is 113th on the official world golf ranking, and Taylor Gooch is 122nd. Again, when you limit your exposure and your starts on major tours, you kind of have to just deal with what you deal with,
Yeah.
and you sacrifice those points, and you have to perform when it's time to perform at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And neither one of those guys have done so, so they're not really, to me, a valid part of this conversation. And so we talk
Agreed.
about it. Let me think about where, or not think about, but where I would put some of these people. I don't disagree with your list. Again, Tony Finau not really putting himself in a good spot to get that. So you went Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, and Ricky Fowler, correct? Or did you
Yeah.
say
And
Justin
and
Thomas?
Ricky Fowler and JT, yeah, that would be my six. The only person that I could see being interchangeable here would be I would switch a Morikawa for like a Sam Burns. That would be my
Yeah.
only kind of objection. I'm not seeing
So
anybody.
So I'm devil's advocate. We talked about this when a couple weeks ago when he got hot, but Lucas Glover, let's say he
Right,
has a
he
really
did.
high finish this week. I think he could be up for consideration. It's a once in a lifetime deal. I think he does have to perform this week to really, command that and put
He
himself
got to be like
in
top five.
squarely in the conversation. Yeah, I think so. But I think if he does that, I mean, that makes it, I
Right.
don't know.
I
It
mean,
makes
he's
it tough. That
16.
makes it a tough call.
He's right behind JT and he's trending up while JT's trending down. I mean, JT
Yeah.
literally is like JT made a post today on IG and it was very, I mean, I wouldn't say it was coded because I felt like it was pretty, open with what he was trying to do, but like pretty much seemed like he was trying to wait for next year to get his place back going. He's like, got a couple more events in the fall, to get the juices back flowing, but looking forward to next season. That's pretty much what it sounded like to him. So,
Yeah.
he looking for the father son PNC deal, probably a couple of those
May-
charity joints. I don't know.
Maybe he's got an indication from Zach Johnson in the background, like, "Hey, man, this is not going to happen this year. This is not your
Right.
love you, but your game's not where it needs to be right now. You've struggled with some things. You're still, you're definitely." He was experimenting his ass off at the end of this year, throwing stuff at the wall with the new putter for 1 week, took it
Yeah.
back out of the bag. He just couldn't figure it out. We talked about his, not, I wouldn't say it's a swing change, but he was definitely trying a flatter plane on the takeaway. And so, yeah, I don't see it. I could easily see a swap out for Lucas Glover and JT.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I agree. Looking down the list a little bit further, I didn't see anybody else that I would, pick out of that top 15. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it'll be very interesting to see how this week pans out, and see if somebody really pulls their game up and impresses and comes out of nowhere. Maybe
Yeah.
Cam Young's been pretty quiet, so I agree. I wouldn't pick him either.
For
Kind of
real.
circling back, we got Perry chiming in here. Love Brooks, but he can't be on the team. One, hasn't played well since PGA. U.S. team can't afford distractions on the road, and Brooks would be a constant distraction for the U.S. team in the press events. Yeah, I know. I mean, those questions will come up if he does make the team, but I guess my only argument for it is I get it. He's not been hot, and we've had limited exposure. He didn't,
Yeah.
wasn't really at the top of the list in the Open. I think for me, the only argument is if he does not make the team, especially after staying in the automatic, kind of in that automatic spot for so long, is that
Right.
the U.S. team is, that there's this separation, right? And so
Right.
you have to talk about the politics and bull crap of it all, and kind of soothing that over. I totally understand that that's BS, but with them trying to get this deal together, which we still don't know much about at this point, it's kind of like a hail mary,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason that, not the only reason, but it's a strong argument for doing it. You don't have to play him a ton, even though his record in the Ryder Cup is pretty strong. We know mentally he gets up for competition, so
Right.
I think Brooks can be a gamer. We didn't expect him to come out and win the PGA this year, but he
He
talks
did.
that talk, and so I get where you're coming from, Perry, but I think there are some arguments against for
Yeah.
putting him on the team. So
Facts. I feel like I definitely see where you're coming from, Mr. Wiggins. But I feel like
yep,
the only way this happens, him not being on the team, is if literally like Zach goes to the automatic qualifiers and who he thinks he's gonna put on the team, the other like strong 10 or 11, and they're like, okay, I don't need any on the fence answers. I need black and white, yes or no, Brooks Koepka. Do you want him on the team? And it had to have been like a majority say no. Otherwise, the way he plays the majors and the way he gets up for like big shit like this, I would have to say he's, despite the live BS in the background, I think he's on the squad, man. I think he
yeah,
is. And this is coming from a guy that's like, yo, DJ's my guy, but like, bro, you're on live. Like, I don't really fuck with you like that. But like Brooks has done the things this season, to I feel like
yeah.
to rightfully
I know,
deserve the spot. Ugh, I hate saying
I
it.
know.
Ugh.
It's tough. It's tough, but it's something we're all going to have to navigate through, and still kind of deal with this over the next couple of years. And
Yeah,
it's one of those things that none of us asked for, but here we are dealing with it. It is what it is.
it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.